Abraham means exalted father, but at a point in time in the midst of the ratification of covenant, his name was changed. And I came to prophesy and declare that you've come into seasons of the change of name. And I'm going to talk to you about it in a minute. But in Genesis chapter 12, God said unto Abram, the God of glory, visited Abram in Mesopotamia and said unto him, get out of your country, out of your kindred, out of your father's house, into a land that I will show you, reveal to you. Then God began to release the manifestation of sevenfold blessings, which are part of the covenant of blessings, the covenant of greatness, the covenant of fire, the covenant of supernatural prosperity, supernatural protection, the covenant of supernatural generational blessings. God began to release them upon Abraham through the power of the spoken word. God said, get out of your country, out of your kindred, out of your father's house, to a land that I will show you, a land of apocalypso, a land of revelation, and I will make of thee a great nation. That is the first covenant, the covenant of greatness. And I don't have time to get into the covenant of greatness. I'll come back to you and talk about it another time. And I will make of thee a great, it was a strong promise, and I will make of thee a great nation. And I will bless thee, the covenant of blessing. And I'll make thy name great, the covenant of influence. And I'll bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And out of thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Sevenfold, multi-dimensional covenantal blessings upon the life of Abraham. And the Bible says that after Abraham came into these encounters in the realm of glory, he stepped out in faith, believing God, not even knowing where he was going. Faith never makes sense. Faith is too risky. Abraham began to embark on a journey of adventures in the midst of a supernatural GPS, and he didn't even know where he was going. And the Bible says that in the midst of the journey, Abraham built an altar unto God because the Lord had appeared unto him. So Abraham was a persistent worshiper. He was an altar builder. And the Bible says that Abraham built an altar and worshiped God. And the Bible says that the Canaanite was in the land. Now, when the Bible says that the Canaanite was in the land, please get it clear that it's speaking about giants. He's speaking about super humongous beings. He's speaking about half spiritual, half natural. Because according to the book of Genesis chapter 6 and verse 4, the Bible declares that the sons of God had sexual relationship with the daughters of men. And super humongous men of renown, those were giants. So when you are dealing with a giant financial situation, a giant relational situation, a giant marital situation, a giant governmental situation, a giant political situation, a giant environmental situation, a giant social situation, a giant socio-economic, socio-political situation, you're dealing with something that has its foundations in the spirit, in the supernatural, from the negative perspective. And it's a combination of the spiritual and the natural. And that is what Abraham was dealing with. But the fact of the matter is that Abraham had already come under the auspices of the blessing. The blessing of God is the supernatural transportation of the power of God to bring about good, blissfulness, comfort, prosperity, superabundance. And it is spiritual, it is supernatural. So God had blessed Abraham. God has said unto Abraham, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make thy name great, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and out of thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham was carrying a mantle, mantles of glory, mantles of fire, mantles of honor, mantles of power,